Good evening, this is Jamie of the Druid Diaries. One of the reasons I love Druidry is because, for the most part, it's gender neutral. And so one should not be judging any druid or student of Druidry based on gender or gender identification. And I think that's something very noble and good about the Druid community. But it's not something that everyone supports and everyone agrees with, just as with other philosophies and organizations. You don't often get consensus. However, for the most part, I feel treated respectfully by both men and women. There has been occasion when entering debate on subjects, and by debate I mean serious conversation, maybe passionate conversation, but intelligently done, not just name calling or beating someone down in order to win. That's not debate. Debate is, to me, the pursuit of truth, or as close to that as we can get. At its best, all parties involved in the debate do learn something. If you are debating a perspective, you better be well prepared to back up your thoughts. And if someone has things that have not occurred to you, you're going to learn from that. I believe in debate for the purpose of learning and understanding and an opportunity to communicate in a passionate and positive way, not a boxing ring. So that's not a put down to boxers, just to be clear. However, it is about discussion, and in a proper debate, one should not be afraid of firmness, intensity, things of that nature. You're not doing this to harm someone or run them down when it's properly done. So, that's fine, but there have been moments when I absolutely did feel that I wasn't being taken seriously. Now, that may have been simply because I was new. That's possible. But when the males in the group are all of a sudden only speaking with one another and they are not speaking with any of the women participating, then you have to think again that perhaps there is something else at work when these women are presenting intelligent, well-founded thoughts into the debate, the discussion. That's something that's cultural. It's a bad habit that some people have. And anything that I'm involved in, whether it's in Druidry or as an instructor, as a visual artist, it's extremely disconcerting not to be taken seriously. So, unfortunately, gender discrimination can be very subtle and very subliminal, and sometimes people don't even really realize that they're doing it. And that's the sad part about it, that in every other way, these individuals may be very lovely people. They might even be very supportive of you, but they're not giving you the respect you need in the moment that you need it, in the way that you need it, to move yourself forward, to keep growing, and to be challenged in a good and proper way that has to do with the discussion, the knowledge, things of this sort. I have encountered opinions stated regarding other experiences that women have had, or other people just generally in gender issues within Druidry or paganism, certainly in Christianity and other faiths. And I always feel deeply saddened about that, and I am particularly saddened when it comes from women. I have absolutely nothing against my sisters, my fellow females, having children, having healthy, wonderful marriages, relationships, what have you. I have children, I have a grandchild, and I cherish that and wouldn't change it. So, I just find it very disappointing when we cannot treat one another with real respect for all of our faculties. I hope that that will never become something of a real barrier to women progressing in Druidry. Some men do have the opinion that women have never been and never should be Druids. I think there's enough in recorded history that demonstrates that that simply is not true. So why would it be any different now? We pass through different phases and cultures where many things ebb and tide. You know, there are many influences. I firmly believe that all people, they have a passion, a calling, should be respected equally in their journey and in their goals, and they should reap the whatever benefits there are to that. Women in art absolutely should be respected and have comparable careers to their male counterparts, and in any profession this absolutely should be true. The light went off on my computer there, my apologies. So, you know, we are all lesser people when we are not treating one another with that kind of respect. You know, whatever that bias is, maybe, you know, you're not seen as having the right lineage, or you're not in the right income bracket, or you don't have the right education. Some people are so dependent on those types of identifications, they cannot even begin to see what someone has to offer, or they take it upon themselves to use those people like a feeder fish in an aquarium setting. You know, okay, there's the feeder fish, they're over there, great ideas, nice people, but we have the privilege to use them and benefit from using them without giving the proper respect and benefit to the people that are the source of those ideas, energies, information, and that is not right. It just simply isn't right. So this kind of thing, it happens to many people, not just women, and it happens everywhere. It's happened throughout history. I just expect more from people in Druidry, and I'm not saying it's common, but, you know, because we are human beings, you know, that element does exist there. So, you know, when you see it, you don't like it, you know, be firm not to put up with it in a good way. Do it in a good way. You don't have to be name calling or anything like that. But if you see anyone that is being treated unjustly or is not being treated in a way that is comparable to another individual that perhaps is benefiting exorbitantly from someone else who is not benefiting from their own knowledge and experience, you know, stand up for them, back each other up. You know, it isn't right, it isn't fair, and I feel that in something like Druidry, where truth and integrity are paramount, that we all have a role to play in making sure that that is a living truth within our Druid community. So that's my thought for this evening. There was something that kind of spurred that, and I'm rather glad that it did, because we can get a little complacent and forget that not everyone is a nice guy. Not everybody is a nice person. Some people will just climb over your back and leave you in the dust to get to where they want to go. They're not about mutual caring within a community. They're just about themselves. And I suppose that's a survival instinct. Okay, you know, that may work in business, but does it make you real? Does it make you authentic in what you're doing? Like, what is your goal? You know, you're going to charge lots of money for workshops? Like, why would you do that? Or is it just because you can and you get off on that? That's not right. You know, that's not Druidic, in my opinion. Or nor is it, you know, the characteristic of someone that should be really working in any kind of caring way. caring profession. I'm not a fan of Picasso, you know, steal what you will and do what you will. I am more a fan of that Wiccan phrase, do no harm. So, you know, I think when we all are thriving and we all are invested in a way that is nurturing to bring out the best in us, that helps everybody. And I don't think that this kind of demeaning behavior really looks good on anybody. So that's my thought for the evening. Be good to each other, respect yourself, and respect others as best you can. We will not always agree. Sometimes people do terrible things to one another, and it's very hard, you know, when you take things personally, to cope with that. But forge ahead, and none of us are alone on this path. Thank goodness for the internet, but we're also all connected in other ways. And I think just, you know, keep doing your meditation. I need to keep doing my meditation. I need to get out there and talk with the trees and meditate with the trees, commune with the trees. And I did that this week briefly and last Saturday briefly, and oh, did it ever make a difference to how I felt. Even just, you know, walking in nature, breathing deep, you know, it can really help you through all these kinds of disappointing experiences. But don't stop striving because someone is being, a jerk. So just keep keep going. And women, you know, just don't give up. You're not less of a woman because you have ambition. You're not less of a woman because you don't expect fair treatment in terms of your pay. A lot of women support their children on their own, and they certainly need to be paid the same way a man is who's supporting his family. There should be no difference, and that's one I've run into. So, you know, you have a right to be paid properly and be respected for the jobs you do and for the gifts you bring. All people do. I'm not interested in anyone being exploited or held back from manifesting their gifts that are then in some way, you know, shared with the rest of society, with the rest of us. And I just really want to emphasize that we are all less when that kind of authenticity, that kind of nourishing is deprived from people. The acknowledgement is important. It's not about arrogance or blowing people's egos up. It's about respect. So you take care. Have a great evening. And yes, of course, women can be true.